We have people trickling in, so we'll wait a minute as they're landing. Welcome, everybody. Okay, thank you all for joining us today. We're really pleased to have you with us as we begin our day in Ottawa, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the School of Social Work and the 50th anniversary of the Centre for Studies in Poverty and Social Citizenship, with a panel discussion on the development of the School of Social Work at Hargeisa University. Our panel members will be telling us about the joint project of Hargeisa University and Carleton University to create a School of Social Work in Hargeisa. This has been a long-term engagement, and I'm excited to hear about how it came about and the outcomes that have ensued, because I'm a new transplant to social work, actually, as of June of 2024. My name is Deborah Connors. I'm the director of the school, and it's my pleasure to moderate this panel. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. Here at Carleton, we live and work on the traditional and unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. Many of us are settlers, some are guests, and others are Indigenous hosts. We are privileged to have the opportunity to learn and grow together through the resurgence of Indigenous cultures and practices. Understanding the devastation and broken trust created by colonization creates a responsibility for settlers and guests to participate in community opportunities for healing and to undertake individual processes of reconciliation and decolonization. I'm a sixth-generation settler. For most of my life, I've lived in Algonquin territories, and I've committed to undoing the colonizing mindset that I inherited and continue to encounter in our society, and to include that work in my teaching and engagement practices. We have here today 4 panelists, 2 from Hargeisa and 2 from Carleton. Each has their own experience of the project to share with us. We have fuller bios of our speakers on the School of Social Work, the Carleton School of Social Work website, but I'd like to give you a few highlights here. Alan Moskowitz is a professor emeritus at Carleton University, where he was a member of the social work faculty for more than 40 years. He continues his research, which focuses on social policy and Canadian welfare state. He was for many years the chair of the Friends of the University of Hargeisa at Carleton School of Social Work. Welcome, Alan. Nemo is an associate professor at Carleton University School of Social Work. Nemo is a member of the local Engagement Refugee Research Network. She's the chair of the Hargeisa project on Carleton's side and has been working closely with the Hargeisa team since her arrival at Carleton in 2016. Thank you, Nemo, for all that work that you're doing. Mukhtar Abi is the Dean of the College of Social Science and Humanities at the University of Hargeisa. Among other degrees, he holds a Master's of Social Work, several other degrees. He teaches in the School of Social Work program, preparing students for community engagement and practice. Welcome, Mukhtar. And Kelter Abian holds a master's degree in education and a bachelor's degree in social work. She's an experienced social work practitioner and one of the founding members of the School of Social Work at the University of Hargeisa. She's a senior lecturer and a researcher in social work at the university. Welcome, Kelter. The panelists will each speak for approximately 10 minutes, and we'll take questions after they have all spoken. And you can put your questions into the chat and we will see them. And when we get to the Q&A, we'll be able to respond. Okay, so Alan is going to begin and give us the early history of this project.
Thank you, Deborah. I'm just going to find my notes. There we are. The committee, which became the Friends of Hargeisa, we changed the name, began around 2003, 2004. I joined the committee soon after it began meeting. And at that time, the first chair of the committee was Asha Rubla. Asha was a graduate of the MSW program at Carleton and was part of the Somali diaspora. She was a Somali Canadian who had come to Carleton after, like so many Somalis did, it came to Canada in the 1990s as a result of the Civil War, which raged in Somalia. In the very early days, the school partnered with Jewish Family Services and Somali Family Services. And this is in the days when Trillium grants, if you're familiar at all with the Trillium program in Ontario, Trillium grants were available. And we established a three-way program that we used to support Somali Canadian students who applied to the School of Social Work. In essence, Jewish Family Services acted as the lead body in applying for the grant and also handled the administration. Under the grant, we supported a number of Somali Canadian applicants who would do at least some of their field placement requirements with Somali Family Services. So the grant supported the students supported Somali Family Services. In that way, the school helped to increase the number of social workers in the Ottawa area, especially who were sensitive to the culture and religion of Somali Canadians. Some of the Somali students returned to Canada from trips to Somalia with the idea of starting a social work program in the country. Here's what Asha wrote in 2007. With respect to the creation of a social work faculty in Hargeisa University, the country and the society are desperately in need of trained social workers who could deliver essential social services. It is necessary to have committed social workers who could protect and support the most vulnerable of Somalilanders. Excuse me. Social workers would address and make a linkage between people and political, social, and economical systems. Social workers would help the development of programs and social movements. They would empower the civil society, and they would help to change current practices. The University of Hargeisa had recently been established, attracting a number of Somali members of the Somali diaspora to return to the country. One was the recently appointed president of the university who'd been in Washington for many years. That was Hussein Bulhan. The committee here in Ottawa discussed how to proceed. One idea which came up was to sign a memorandum of agreement between Carleton and Hargeisa, which would put the committee in a position to discuss how Carleton could assist the formation of a new social work program formally with the University of Hargeisa. In 2010, it happened that the new Hargeisa president, Dr. Hussein Bulhan, was coming to Washington. Members of the committee contacted him and asked him if he would be willing to come to Ottawa to sign an MOA. He agreed, and on very short notice. Similarly, on short notice, the vice president attended the signing ceremony on behalf of the university. We also attracted the attention of the Somali Canadian media, who reported on the event. That night, the president stayed for a reception, and the committee raised some $5,000. Here's what was reported at the time. Several years ago, a group of Somali Canadian graduates of Carleton School of Social Work were talking about ways they could give back to their homeland. A 20-year civil war continued to simmer in southern Somalia, but the northern region of Somaliland has been relatively peaceful for the last decade. However, many people in the north are still dealing with the lingering after effects of devastating civil upheaval. The Carleton alumni hit on the idea of setting up a school of social work at the region's new University of Hargeisa, founded in 2000. They approached Roy Haynes and Alan Moscovich, social work professors at Carleton, for support. Once the MOA was established, a parallel committee was formed at Hargeisa. With busy people at either end, it was sometimes difficult to remain in contact, but at the same time, senior executives at Hargeisa changed several times, requiring us to start working over again. At our end, we began work on over several years at doing some more fundraising and at developing a BSW program outline, which could be used at Hargeisa. As laid out by Asha in a 2010 document, our goal was to develop academic support for the creation of a program at Hargeisa, to correct textbooks and other study materials which could be used to support the program, to fundraise, which would permit diaspora Somali to go to the university to begin teaching the courses, and to develop partnerships to assist us in putting the plan into place. We held 2 additional fundraisers in the community, and with the assistance of dedicated community members, raised over $13,000. We also started that work on a draft curriculum. After a year of work on it, we had a full draft. The hard part was where the new program would be located if the University of Hargeisa agreed. Initially, the plan was to raise enough funding to construct a new building, but the task of raising enough funding was daunting for our committee, even though by Canadian standards the cost would be very low. For a while, the work of the committee came to a standstill. Then one of our most active committee members took a community work position in Somalia. Asha Rubla took the time to go to the university in Hargeisa and discuss setting up the social work program with staff there. She formed a committee in support of the program and was able to interest senior members of the university to support establishing the program. She served as the acting dean of the BSW program when it first opened in 2013, with teaching faculty drawn from within the university and from the community. We sent some of the funds we had raised to Asha to use as expenses to help establish the program. When the program opened, there was a lot of interest on the part of students, and there were many applications. It's been operating successfully now for our this is the 11th year. In order to help the university establish a small library of social work books, we conducted a campaign in the community asking former students and other staff to contribute books they were no longer using or were willing to part with. It was overly successful. We filled our small mailroom with books. After reviewing the books, we made 2 shipments through an agent in Toronto who arranged to deliver the books directly to the university. Hugh Schul, who was then the director, and I spent many hours reviewing the books and backing them. He delivered them to our agent in Toronto. In addition to Asha, I'd like to mention some of the other committee members who contributed to the development of the Hargeisa BSW in those early years. Students, alumni, and community members included Omar Ugas, Shamarki Abdullahi, Ikram Jama, Amal Kaushan, Salah Jama, Zara Saeed, and Aaron Richards. Faculty members who contributed included Roy Haynes, Abdel Fattah El Krid, Gerald de Montigny, Hugh Schul, and of course, Nemo Bokore, who joined us in 2016 as a faculty member and then joined the committee. We also had the active support of staff from an Ottawa-based Islamic charity, Human Concern International. Garneel Abde and Kaleem Akhtar were both involved in the committee for several years. Nemo joined when she came to the school, as I mentioned, and I'm going to ask her now to talk about her involvement since she arrived at the School of Social Work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan, and welcome everyone for coming to this webinar. And thank you for Deborah and Andrea who organized this. Thank you, Mukhtar, and for coming, Carleton. So my involvement began when I was doing my PhD study into Somali mothers who come from all the 5 regions. Somalis know all the 5 regions. So of mothers that I selected from Djibouti, northern Kenya, eastern Ethiopia, now known as Galil 5, Somaliland, and southern Somalia, now known as the Republic of Somalia. So and historically also I have a connection because my dad is a Somalilander. I was born and raised in Ethiopia, so my history goes through that. So I was paying attention to what's happening into the Somaliland, especially after the civil war and after the break away. When I graduated, when I did my PhD and graduated from York, I was shortlisted into several universities. But the reason I came to Carleton was with the awareness of the connection between School of Social Work and Somaliland, especially the University of Hargeisa. At the same time, the existence of the African Studies, the center. I think it's the only African Studies in Canada that's here. So that's how I arrived. I was immediately, it was on my job talk, actually, the reason I am coming to Ottawa. I joined the committee, and Alan was retired by that time, so I became the chair. The first thing I did was going back to Somaliland and talking to Hargeisa University administrators about the school and about the need. How can I help? How can we help as a school and as a faculty myself? And so after the discussion, we talked about the need for the MSW program. As we were discussing, we also talked about the memorandum that expired. So my first activity that I did was renewing the memorandum. It has, I think it's 5 years. Alan, I'm not sure, it's every 5 years. It has to be renewed. So I renewed that one, and then I came in with the idea and presented the need that exists right now for the MSW. And the reason was because of the wonderful work that the graduates of the BSW students are doing with the NGOs. And the NGOs were actually asking for somebody who can do specifically and help them with mental health or community development, community organization policy. So we focused onto that and start helping them with the curriculum. To do the curriculum development, we applied for small funding and for a project called capacity building. The reason we focus on the capacity building was, again, with the discussion I had with the faculty members and with the graduates, the need for training into the new program that's going to be the MSW program, and training the faculty who exists to train the students who are coming in. So we focused on creating the two programs, the policy and the mental health program, focusing specifically in intervention into the individuals and families and community development. I went to Hargeisa we had a couple of activities online. We have been doing, like one of the activities we did was doing a research project, actually, asking graduates who from the school, the work that they are doing and what social work means and the progress social work itself made so far in Somaliland. And us also asking similar question, but also teaching or training new social workers, the faculty members. So I went last year again to do capacity building training for both faculty and alumni about what the program looks like and about the mental health needs and a kind of conversation, a collaborative conversation of what that needs, what the need is, and at the same time, what the program will look like, the MSW program will look like. So that's what we are in so far. At this moment, it's going to be, my talk is going to be short. I'm going to give time for Mukhtar and Carleton to talk about. So still we are hoping this year it's going to be opening, and my second step will be to also start helping them to develop to start the program and maybe strengthen the teaching. I promised I'm going to teach the mental health from here. I will also try to recruit other people to help them out because there's always a need for funding. Alan talked about the funding. It's very difficult to fundraise here because of the lack of recognition for Somaliland. It's very difficult to transfer money directly to them. And there is a lot of issues with that. So it's going to be recruiting volunteers who are going to help them teach with the amount of money that they have. Also, Mukhtar and I talked about actually hiring 2 people so far that I knew who will be teaching the school, and the rest will be recruiting from this side, from Carleton Social Work. The faculty also initially promised, and I am sure they are aboard, so they will help out in teaching part of it, or at least doing presentation to specific or participating in the training of the faculty themselves. So that's where we are right now, and we are looking forward to the MSW program, hopefully at the end of this year. Okay, so now I'm going to give to Carleton or Mukhtar.
Can you step in? Can you come forward?
Carleton.
Yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. I'm Carleton, one of the lecturers in the University of Hargeisa. Yeah, and also I was one of the founders of the Faculty University of Social Work. I was working with Asha and her team at 2013 when we were establishing a School of Social Work at the University of Hargeisa. And as Ellen mentioned, as Asha and her team has created the link since they were graduated from Carleton University. They support the faculty to have donation books from the Carleton University and other Somali diaspora. And also we have created a local association for social work association in Hargeisa. After we have created that association, we we shared with the board of directors of the university a proposal for establishment of the faculty, and we have started for the first batch at as 50 students as a pilot in social work training. And after that, the students were engaged the communities and the areas that the need for social worker and they were involving and engaging and the people who are in need for social work services. And the students, those who were learning at that time at the University of Hargeisa, they don't have the people, the community, they don't know what a social work is and what are the social workers are doing within the community. So there was a great challenge for students to involve and work with the community people. So it takes time to understand the community people, to understand what social work, what's the role of social worker within the community. And the students, they did a lot of efforts to make them, to convince the people what they are doing and the services they are linking to the needy people. And the students of social work, University of Hargeisa, they prefer into working with the mental hospitals and centers for street children and child labor. And they also working with the people with HIV/AIDS. They work with the women organizations by advocating women and women's rights and women to participate within the elections existing in Somaliland. And they also have worked with and the crises that are happening in this country, like banning the biggest market in Hargeisa in Somaliland. They support the people. They give them first aid psychology. The people, those who lost their properties in that banning market. They also worked with the coronavirus. The coronavirus at the time was the coronavirus was in the country. They was working with the hospitals, with the people who don't know how to avoid coronavirus. They were conducting awareness raising programs on coronavirus. They also organizing a community awareness programs on child labor, street children, and GBV cases. And the students of social work, they have a lot, they did a lot in the community. They worked with people who are in need for social work services, because we know this country has gone so many civil wars, and the people in this country have so many psychological problems. So they work with that people, they help them, and they give them a counseling, and they support them, and they give them hope to work with, to engage in their community and integrate with and work with the people within the communities. And we know, so as a Somali, there is a minority groups. Those individuals, those students, they work with the minority groups and give them hope to participate the elections in this country. They also work with that minority group to integrate within their community. I can say, and since 2018, I was teaching the students of social work in the University of Hargeisa. I can say that those students did a lot in this country, and they created a hope for those who doesn't have hope. And the students of social work, they work with the mental hospitals. We know there is a taboo in Somali. When the person gets a psychological problem, people are making him to worsen his or her
Yeah, mental health is a taboo. That's what I think she froze. Yeah,
Yes.
mental
Yeah.
mental health
Yeah.
is culturally a taboo, something it is uh, actual. They see it doesn't exist, so they avoid to say mental health. They name it into different things, and people who are seriously dealing with mental health issues are actually isolated and taken away, like locked away, because it's kind of a shame for the family with even a small depression, something like simple is a problem. That person could be locked away, and their problems escalate to other things. So what we did was, and what the alumni did was, actually it came in the conversation that we had with the faculty and the students. It's after they understood what social work is, specifically some of the interventions talking and including talking about mental health, talking about family violence, talking about child labor, or talking about child abandonment, all those, bringing it together with culturally and religiously, which is particularly advocates for those groups. So what they did was focusing on normalizing the issue itself, so it will be easier to talk about, to have a conversation. So people are awakening into that. Cartoon mentioned the burning of the biggest. It is the biggest mall. It's like an African mall, like a structure. It's huge that burned to the ground, and people were traumatized. Some of them, the only resource that they have was that small shop where they support a lot of family members, not only immediate family, but also external families. And losing that created a lot, triggered a lot of memories that when the civil war happened and they lost everything. So it was very traumatizing. The role the social work students took, creating a group conversation, bringing religion and Islam and the knowledge that they had about mental health, help those people to regroup, to understand to themselves, to regroup also and rebuild the market itself. So the social work students are not only reaching out to the community and making them understand what the needs are, making and opening conversation or normalizing issues that originally were taboo. They are also creating a conversation within the government itself to recognize actually the need for social work, social programs, social welfare programs for those in need. There are a lot of children who are abandoned, who are orphaned, and nobody takes care of them. There are also a whole new society who are isolated because of birth, because they are marginalized from participating in social or economic development of the region, bringing them, normalizing that, the connection, again, coming into the culture and to the religion, opening doors for them, for students from marginalized communities to get scholarships, to get jobs, to participate in the development of the nation, the new nation that will be hopefully soon recognized. So they did a lot of work, and they have been doing those. I think Carleton is still missing, and so we will give to
Yeah.
Mukhtar to take over.
Okay, thank you so much. I think she will come back in a few minutes. Yes, uh, the social workers, our alumni and the current social workers at the School of Social Work have done amazing job. When you look at the way they are trained, they address, a host of social problems. As Nemo and if you like, Cartoon mentioned, yes, they have addressed such problems, bedefining our modern society. That's, for example, GBV, gender-based violence, mental health issues, even sometimes they address students or children who are at the age of school going, who are unable to go to school. They advocate for those children because they are poverty. Their family are in a state of poverty. They are unable to send their children to school. So they advocate and they link the families whose children cannot go to school to the resources which is available. And they link to the Minister of Education and other local organizations who are dedicating for the children to be their education to be improved. So they address those social problems or educational problems. And we document all these cases and they present before the students when they come back to school and the school is in session in class. They share with other students, they present, and sometimes we bring them together as teachers also, interpret them as a, oral presentation and oral examination, if you like. And FIFA is conducted based on what they have done within the community. So, and they give scholarships, advocate for the University of Hargeisa when they finish high school. For example, female students wanted to pursue as far as, university level. So we go to the director of student affairs at the University of Hargeisa. They sit with them, the committee who are in charge of scholarship programs, and those who are identified that they are in need of education and who are unable to fund their education are given scholarships based on their status, based on their economic, problems they are facing. And other thing is we address, our students address is that, they work with orphanage centers. And we have a biggest orphanage center till in the military regime of Somalia, which is, those buildings are still intact. It was not looted. It was not destroyed by the, those people who came back to Somaliland when Somaliland was liberated. So the orphanage, the children who are abandoned, or who are, what can I say? I don't know the term which is fit here. Those children are abandoned by their parents, and when we find them, we take them to those orphanage, and they are held. Not the government of Somaliland. We don't have resources from the government of Somaliland, but we link to the resources, local organizations, and international United Nations organizations like UNICEF. Local, I can mention UFENCO, which is a local organization, AMPICAM. Those organizations, they rear and look after those children. When they grow up, they are given education to the public schools and also private schools. They are sent to those schools. And they are given a care. They are under the custody of the government of Somaliland. And those who are in charge are women, because women are always kind compared to men. Psychologically, they are more attached to children. So those cases are very much important to be mentioned. And one thing is also, we celebrate International Social Work Day, which falls in March each year. So we highlight what we have done in those years and the tasks, and here it's really Herculean task. Those challenges the social workers address and they encounter when they go to the field, community. So those, and the theme also, which IFSW also come up with special themes. And we address how social workers get training, further training. Carleton mentioned early on that we need an association of social workers. We need to operationalize association of social workers because we need our social workers to give them a license as 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 with yours, for example, in North America. You give them a license, they are licensed. So we train them in a way they cannot infringe on the rights of the clients. And we train them to follow the principles of social work and the ethics of social work. And principles, one of them I can mention is a principle of confidentiality. So they do not share with a third person. They keep it in secret. They keep it in secret. So I cannot say they are fully trained, but still they need as far as MSW, because MSW is already established. Curriculum was developed with the help of Carleton School of Social Work, Alan, and Dr. Nemo, Dr. Alan, and students are being registered, and very soon it will be started, and we see the first batch to graduate into year's time, and we are very hopeful because what you are doing to the Somaliland people is something we will remember for ages, and you are mothers and fathers of School of Social Work at the University of Hargeisa. Your work will be appreciated, and we really appreciate, and we are very grateful the noble work you are doing to us, and we share your tasks, what you are doing to us, with the rest of our colleagues and our students. One thing I wanted to mention is that when there was an Inverno, the biggest market in Hargeisa, it was April 1st. It was in the middle of the night when I woke up by a telephone call by one of the students, and I was not on social media. They said, haven't you heard, Dinabi, that there is that the Wahin, the biggest market in Hargeisa, is burning and completely razed to the ground by the fire, like LA in Los Angeles, if you like. We pray for Americans, Allah to save them. We say God to save them. This is a natural. It happens everywhere across the world, if you like. And students, day and night, they were standby. They were helping those people who lost their property in the fire. They were giving professional counseling. They were giving handout food. Since they were, fasting, people were fasting, and they break the fasting at that time. Because sometimes it's allowed in Muslims. If you have a problem, you can break the fast. This is something beyond our capacity. The international community came forward, they helped the people of Somaliland. And the neighboring Ethiopia, Somali 5 zone, they came forward, they helped us to save the lives of those people who lost their property in the fire. This is an amazing job. And they were sporting with a jacket name, which is, it was, sporting in the name of School of Social Work. And it was a feasible. The jacket indicates that these students belong to the University of Hargeisa School of Social Work. They were respected by the government of Somaliland and by the international local organization, international organizations who were, present into service and saving the lives of those people. Yeah, we are now starting Master of Social Work. This is something we are proud of, and we are working on how to professionalize the School of Social Work and social workforce. And you will see and reap what you saw now and in the past. This is for you. So I will pass on to Deborah, if you can continue. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maktar. Wow. What an amazing journey you've all been on. I'm wondering if people have questions, you can put them in the chat. And we have we have a few minutes left to talk about that. While people are doing that, it was amazing to hear the number of different impacts that your students are making, that your graduates are making. And on a practical level, I'm just curious about what's the range of jobs opportunities for social workers in Somaliland?
Yeah. Shall I?
Say
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. They go to many diverse, of workplaces. They work with local organizations, international and United Nations organizations. They work with those organizations as a project coordinator, child welfare specialist, uh, counselors, if you like. Some of them go to find jobs like other, ministries and agencies, government agencies. Some of them they go to the private companies because the companies is, telecommunications. They become, you know, they train and advocate for those who are employed who are under stress. Sometimes they are given some kind of maltreatment is given to them. So there are different places they go to. Mainly they go to local organizations and government agencies, some of the international and United Nations organizations. Nowadays, the private schools and public schools are coming to understand the importance of having or to hire school social worker because they give them a counseling and sometimes we attach to them as an intern. They work as an intern at those public schools and private schools. They realize the importance of hiring school social workers. Yeah, and some people who came from Canada and North America, if you like, and Europe at the large, they came back home. They established local organization and institutions who work for the autism. So they work with those institutions, which is run by people who are in the diaspora. So social workers, some of them, they go to other countries for pursuing as far as master degree, like neighboring Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and as far as, if you like, Asia, Malaysia, and yeah, few days back, one of my alumni came to my office and she said, I need to obtain a recommendation letter from the School of Social Work. She passed IELTS and she got a job in the UK as, can I say, a social worker. So she told me that she secured the visa from the British Embassy in Addis Ababa. Here we don't have an embassy, but we have a liaison office here in Somaliland. So we are very happy that our students are far flung in the world. They are here and other countries working as a social work professionals.
Wonderful.
Actually, from the
Um,
recent findings that we did, they were talking about how immediately, like, it's very difficult to find for graduates because there is job scarcity because of the lack of recognition, but social workers are immediately employed as soon as they graduate. There is a waiting list for admission, a long waiting list because
nice.
of the availability of the job. At the same time, social work, the relationship it has with the culture of the Somalis and the religion itself. The understanding is now really, people are recognizing what social work can do in terms of the development of the nation itself.
Nice. Okay, we have 3 questions that have come in. And I think what I'll do is just read them all, and then you can answer them. First one is from Sarah. She says, how does a social work program address accessibility and inclusion from a disability justice perspective? The second one is, one of the presenters talked about stigma and silencing of mental health. What strategies are social workers using to deal with this stigma and silencing? That's Festus. And a third one from Titolope. Do you have plans to expand social work initiatives to other African countries? So would somebody like to take one of those?
Yeah. Extending social work education in neighboring Somalia. UNICEF, because of you, UNICEF funded 2018 a 4-year project, which they wanted to train those people who work in civil society organizations, because they are not trained as a professional social workers. They get a shorter training, like 1 week training, 2 week training. So they came up with the idea of, why don't we strike an MOU with the University of Hargeisa School of Social Work to give them 4 years professional social work. And that 4-year program trained around 140 social work students. They came from different organizations, government organizations, agencies, civil society organizations. So they work in the east, north, far flank across Somaliland. And then University of Mogadishu, they contacted me. They said, why don't we to be part and parcel of this huge program funded by UNICEF? I said, it's okay. We are brothers. We are different from politically, but when it comes to education, we can bring you on board. And I went to Mogadishu. 2001, I went to Mogadishu, though it is really, the situation is not acceptable because of, there is so many problems in Mogadishu. So I was housed in a hotel in Mogadishu airport. Then I was guarded like a president. There was a heavy security around me. So there were 10 universities across Somalia. Hargeisa School of University of Hargeisa School of Social Work was one of the model who were training those people and advocating for the University of Hargeisa, other universities from Somalia. So they started their first batch, establishment of School of Social Work, 2018, September. Yeah. So they started 2018, and the first batch graduated. And, still the school is from Puntland, semi-autonomous region of Somalia, Puntland, and some of other universities from Mogadishu, they have their own BS because of School of Social Work. We share our expertise with our colleagues at the other universities, and they have their own BSW, Bachelor of Social Work. They are thinking about to come up with the idea of starting MSW. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear Mukhtar talk about this. What happened was UNICEF put out a call for proposals, and it read like the program at the university. What they wanted was the program at the University of Hargeisa, but it was clear that they had no idea that the University of Hargeisa existed and the program existed. So we wrote to them and we said, very interesting proposal. It's exactly what we're doing at the University of Hargeisa. And this is what came out of that, was the contact that UNICEF sent a delegation to Hargeisa, and what came out of it is the program that Mukhtar was talking about. So It was great to hear the details from Hargeisa.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
About the
we
stigma?
have only 4 minutes left. I wondered if somebody would like to make a very brief comment about accessibility and inclusion from a disability justice perspective. We haven't really touched on that yet.
I can do that. And just a quick, they don't have about the stigma and the abilities. It's they took it as an inclusion. It was part of because the inclusion that they were teaching the communities. What they did was the students and the alumni, like a community capacity building, awakening. Like they do workshops about what marginalization means. As I talked about before, there are Somalis who are marginalized and not included into the social and economic part. And Mukhtar addressed that, how through scholarship, those communities were allowed to go from high school all the way to university and help their communities. It's the same thing because of the poverty, children who are born with the ability issues. There were polio, even physical disabilities. They were abandoned. So those students, those children are part of the abandoned who are now in the orphanages and having access to education. I saw some of them working actually using kind of a wheelchair. It was the first time I saw people allowed in that region to go to an office, somebody who is working with ability issues. So they are trying. It's a new nation. It's not recognized. They are very close right now, but they do a self-help. It is a self-help development that they are doing. And social work going through that self-help development. They made a lot of improvements in terms of stigma and ability issues, including talking about family violence, women's issues, gender equality, women who are abandoned. So they are making a lot of social justice strives. They don't call it that one. They call it like social work the Somali way. So they are doing a lot of differences, and they are taking that into actually including it into the policy. So it started with the educational inclusion for those who have been stigmatized and with ability issues. Now they are talking into policy to develop programs for them.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you so much, Nemo.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to give a chance for Carleton to have one last word before we finish.
Yes, thank you.
We might just go a minute or two over. So if you lose a few people, thank you so much for being here. But Carleton, please take a minute or two to
Okay,
wrap
thank
up
you.
your
I will add on the disability inclusion and what social work is doing for inclusion in Somaliland. For example, on the elections, we work with National Election Commission as a volunteers, and we develop with them the awareness programs for on elections. So we develop them in a way that a disability group can understand and participate the elections in Somaliland. We also work with the Somaliland National Disability Forum, which is advocating for disability rights. For this organization, we support them to work with to develop with them the messages and awarenesses on for disability group. So we volunteer to work with the disability group to participate and create inclusion for activities. On the Somaliland parliamentarian, we involve them and to produce the national disability policy, which is which can help the disability group in Somaliland and create inclusion and participation. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And it has been such a pleasure to hear about this project and the development of it and the incredible benefits that are going to the community from your work and now going beyond Somaliland. We at Carleton wish the Hargeisa School of Social Work all success as you move into a full program of undergraduate and graduate studies. And to all participants, thank you for coming. I hope to see some of you at the lunch and the keynote address later today and the Emerging Scholars panel at 2:30. Thank you all.
Thank you. Salam alaikum.
Salam
Okay,
alaikum.
see you all. See you all. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye for now.
Inshallah, when the circuit doona. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Bye.
All right. Well, is our session been closed at this point?
No, we still have attendees who are.
Okay. Oh, I see a few people here. Yes. Thank you guys. That was fabulous. Yeah. Very fun. Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, thank you so much, all of you. See you then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.